Hey guys, this is Josh F151 Tech back with another video. And in this video, I actually wanted to make a video and voice my displeasure of the waveform cables that they make for their antennas, their cellular antennas. So let's actually get into this video. So as you guys can see here, I'm actually up in my attic where I have my setup, my Metro by T-Mobile 5G home internet setup. And I made another video not long ago about talking about a setup upgrade regarding the cables. And I figured that I would make a video and actually talk about where I think that Waveform needs to improve on their newer products. So this is actually their older product. This is actually the Waveform 4x4 antenna, the legacy antenna, I meant to say, the legacy antenna. So this is their older one, and these ones are actually becoming harder to find, and they're pushing their newer ones now, but I'm not really a big fan of their newer ones because the cables are just not made as well as their older ones. And as you guys can see here, I actually chose to run 10-foot cables. I actually made the cable run shorter, and I have my Chester Cheetah SDX75 gateway slash modem up there on the desk up there, or the shelf, or whatever you want to call it. It's kind of like a bookshelf or whatever. It's an old bookshelf or something, or a storage shelf. I'm not really sure what it is, but it works for this case anyway to have that sit up there. But these are actually KMR 400 cables, and I go more into detail talking about them and why I actually shortened my cable run and decided to bring the setup back up here in the attic. And it has actually helped with the reliability and the speeds. It really has, especially in bad weather. And that's because those are made a lot better. They're a lot thicker, and they're just shielded a lot better. And not only that, but the shorter cable run also helps with the reliability and the speed for sure. But I actually want to be comparing these two. So this is actually the original cable over here. This is actually the original cable that was used with the Waveform Quad Pro 4x4 legacy antenna, they call it now. And like I said, they are becoming harder to find because they're pushing their newer ones. And I actually have the newest cable right here. This is actually the newest cable that Waveform makes. And I'll actually show you guys what it says on here. So as you guys can see, it says Waveform 195Q SM 20. So that's a 20-foot. This is a 20-foot cable, and they make 10 feet, they make 5 feet, and I believe that they make like 30 or 32 feet. I'm not really sure. But I purchased one of these for the sake of the video because I wanted to make a video on it, and I just wanted to compare these cables. And this, like I said, this is the older one over here. This is the older one, and I can actually come over here and I can actually show you guys what it says on the side of it here. So as you guys can see right there, it actually says low loss 4x4 RS240 cable. And then it also says 1723M. So I guess that's millimeters or something. I'm not really so sure about that. But I just wanted to do a comparison between the three, actually, because as you guys can see, these ones over here, obviously, they're a lot better. They blow these cables out of the water. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now. And they're harder to work with, but if you actually have a short cable run like I do, then they're not really that difficult to work with. As you can see, I can still plug them into the back of the gateway with no problems or anything, and they're plugged up to the Waveform 4x4 antenna, the legacy antenna, with no problems. But if you were running them through like a long wall or something, or you were trying to run them outside and you were trying to, get them to go through a wall or something like that, or insulation or something like that, and you might have a problem. But up here in the attic, how I have the setup, it's not really that big of a deal. I just let them hang out like this because I'm not really worried about it, because nobody's really up here in the attic anyway, except for me, checking on this every once in a while and making sure everything's good. So obviously, the shorter you go, the better reliability and the better gain and the better speed you're going to have, especially in bad weather. I've noticed that it helps, especially in bad weather, to help with the reliability and the gain and the speeds and everything. But these cables are very thick, guys. These cables are very thick and they're very difficult to move, and that's on purpose. That's on purpose because they're a better cable. They're an all-around better cable. And like with these ones, you can still bend them somewhat, as you can see there. And also with these ones, you can bend them very easily. You can bend these ones very easily. Now, I've seen people actually say that they like cables that they can work with better. Obviously, it's better if you can work with a cable, like if you can get it through a wall easier or something like that. But you really, in that, you really have to be careful because you lack the gain. You lose gain, you lose signal, you lose speed, and you just lose overall reliability. So you really have to be careful when you're choosing cables. Basically, what I'm saying is that Waveform, they're older cables like this one here. This one's a 32 foot, but it's a lot better. It's made a lot better, and I really don't like the way they're going with these newer white cables. I really don't, and that's exactly why I'm going to be using these cables when I get my Waveform Quad Pro antenna. Not my Quad Pro, excuse me. My Waveform Dual Plus. I have a video on my channel on that. I get these antennas confused. Sorry about that, guys. But the Dual Plus, I'm actually getting that in a few days here, and I have another video on my channel talking about that when I'm actually going to be getting it. And it's a really big antenna. I go more into detail about it on my channel, so definitely check that out. That's the Quad Pro over there, and the Dual Plus is going to be the one that I'm going to be testing out, and it's a lot bigger than that one. It definitely is when they're both put together. That's why they call them the Dual Plus. But anyway, I wanted to get back to this video because it is important. Cable is definitely important when it comes to 5G home internet or even 4G home internet, whatever cellular home internet you have. And if I were you guys, if you can afford it, I would definitely opt for KMR 400 cable like I have set up here, as you guys can see. And I wouldn't go, if you do buy a newer Waveform antenna, I would not use their cables. I would not, because they're junk in my opinion, or they're just not well made. And I'm really disappointed in it, really. I really am, because Waveform is a really good company. They have really good stuff. They have really good antennas, like over there, as you can see. But the quality is unfortunately going down with them. I can see it, and unfortunately the quality is going down. Like with the newer Waveform Quad Pro antenna, like that one over there, it's not actually like that one. The newer one actually has a plastic back to it. It doesn't even have a metal back to it like this one does. So I really am not a big fan of how Waveform is going. And like I said, you can see it. You can see it here. Like if I hold this cable up to this, like you can just see how fat and beefy this one is compared to this one, compared to their newer one. I mean, you can basically bend these. So I mean, it's just not made well. It's just not made well, and it's not going to give you a lot of gain. It's not going to give you like a lot of reliability and speed like this older cable is going to. But even with that, like this one could have been made better too, in my opinion. Like this is a 32 foot, and it really wasn't that bad. It's not really as bad as the newer white cables, but I really believe that they could have done better. I really believe that they could have went with like KMR 400, like the cables over here that I have. But you also have to take into consideration, you know, that they're going to be bringing the price up too if you opt for, you know, better cabling and stuff like that. So you have to take that into consideration as well. But I really don't like the way that Waveform is going with their antennas. I really don't, and that's exactly why when I get my Dual Plus, I'm going to be using the KMR 400 cables. I already have a pack of them that I haven't even opened yet, because I can't use this kind of connector. I can't use these kind of connectors with these ones, because that's going to be these are new connector types. So that's another thing that I don't really like. Like they're moving away from the older connector types, and they're basically changing things. I don't really like how they're changing things with the connectors and everything like that. I don't really like that either. But the main thing I wanted to get out in this video is that I just don't like the way they're going with their new cables. I just think that they're cheaply made. Now, people actually do say that they like the weatherproofing boots on these, that you can just slide up and then it'll weatherproof it, excuse me. And I really do like those. But the thing is, you're sacrificing gain, you're sacrificing reliability, you're sacrificing speeds, you're just sacrificing all over, basically all around reliability and speed and gain and everything like that. So that's basically all I got in this video, guys. I just wanted to get a quick one out, but I wanted to let you guys know that if you do have the money to purchase third-party cables with these newer Waveform 4x4 antennas especially, then I would definitely do it. I would definitely opt for going with KMR 400 cables, and I'll actually leave a link down below in the description to them for anybody that's interested. But so that's basically the video, but I really wanted to make a video on it because I wanted to touch on this and just make a quick video on it because it is definitely worth talking about. And like if you do have the 32-foot, if you have the 32-foot cable that came with the original Waveform 4x4 antenna over there, the Legacy, if you already have that, then that cable is definitely good enough. It's good enough, but it's not as good as KMR 400 cable. It's definitely not. But it's definitely better than their newer cables. It's definitely better than Waveform's newer white cables for sure. But if I were you, if you can afford KMR 400 cable, I would go for it. If you can't, then I would go for something at least a little bit better than these white cables that Waveform has going on right now. So that's all I got, guys. I just wanted to get a quick video out, and if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. And until next time, guys.